Yes. Hello and welcome to the Good Vibes Podcast, episode 2. Johnny here. Pleasure to see you again, and thank you to anyone that tuned into the last one. This is round 2. It's been a little bit of time between the 2 episodes. I do apologise for that. I've been busy booking the lineup for this year's festival, which, as I will get into, is a challenging and long, drawn-out process with a lot of highs and a lot of lows. So it's taken me some time. Anyway, we're here. The lineup is booked, and I wanted to give you an update about the festival that's happening in the summer, but also an insight over the next 30, 40 minutes into what it is to book music at festivals, how the process works, what goes on behind the scenes, and the challenges that it presents, but also the joy that comes with, that the process comes with. So here we are. So I've been booking music at club nights, for tours and for festivals for a number of years now. And the festival that I'm currently working on, Good Vibration Society, is hopefully an amalgamation of all of that experience that I've had. And obviously, I'm still making a lot of mistakes, but learning as I go. And one thing that I recognize is the importance of having like a core vision, ethos, I suppose, for like how to book. And then that's, I suppose, like a lens with which I'll see the booking process through. And that's developed over the years at Good Vibes. Starting back in 2021, it was... I suppose mostly music that I love listening to, and starting a festival on a shoestring with no big company backing. It's a case of just like, what can we do? What can we have happen? And so I remember we booked we played my band Gentleman's Dub Club. I also believe we booked Holly Cook, but it was not a full show. It was an acoustic show with Luke, who's a good friend of mine, and Holly, who's also a good friend of mine, playing and doing a sort of unplugged acoustic set. And Newton Faulkner we booked because Dougie, my partner in the show, he had a connection to Newton Faulkner. So we did what we could in year one, and what we could spend, and we spent what we could spend to keep it hopefully sustainable, and so it can happen again year on year. So but the ethos has developed essentially over the years. So like, where we started with things that were familiar and very close, we've slowly sort of grown with the people that come to the event. And after the festival, every single year, we ask for feedback and ask for these forms to be filled out, so we find out what people loved and what they didn't love so much and what they wanted more of. And so that process kind of fuels and feeds into this idea of having some sort of concise ethos and vision. And where have we ended up here, 2026, going into 2026? It's important to have, for me, we can have a very broad selection of music as long as everything that's chosen has a soul to it. It's not just soul music, but something with soul. So, you could have some pretty heavy electronic music, but as long as there's a soul to it, and when I say a soul, I don't mean a melody or particular lyrics. It's a more abstract definition than that, but it's music with soul. And then also we have to have a combination of acts that are local to the site, that are local to the area, a combination of DJs and live performances. So obviously we've got lots of different venues to satisfy. I think a really important part of it is that we're working with local musicians. I grew up in the local area, and I can honestly say one of the one of the sub rhythms that's been going on throughout this whole process for me has been imagining what it was like for me growing up in this area, in the countryside, in the middle of Sussex, and enjoying music and enjoying singing and making music. And I genuinely grew up with, I suppose, like an inferiority complex for people that lived in London or in Brighton. I then moved, I left the village and I moved up to Leeds and straight away got involved in club nights and making music with other people. And I realised then quickly that complex wasn't true, and that I could do whatever I wanted. I was just the same as everyone else. And so this event is for really, really a huge part of it is for that kind of 16, 17-year-old me who desperately wanted to be able to be at a festival and see what all the hype was about. That desperately wanted to collaborate and learn what it was to be a musician professionally. And I suppose when I look back at it retrospectively, it's not really that clean. I wasn't really aware that that's what I wanted, or that I had these hang-ups. But as I grew up, I started to realize it, and I recognized the importance of that. So I really want to book local acts for that reason alone. We, I'll go through it later, but one of the venues on site is solely application based. And so people who live in the local area or the regional area, and people who are there at the start of their journey. And so we're able to offer a platform, an experience of a festival, how to navigate the process, how to negotiate with a festival, how to ultimately get everyone together and prepared and perform at an event. So yeah, that's a core part of our ethos as well. The foundations of the festival were very much so it's myself that runs it alongside two very dear friends in Doug Hunt and Richard Morris, and that's the site, the venue. Richard owns the site, and then Doug, he runs a sound production company, sound focused production company. And so one thing that I realized at the very start, and part of the reason why these three people came together, is because I knew that the sound quality was going to be incredible and far bigger and better and more professional than an event our size should be. And so that if I then booked amazing music, it would be heard correctly. And yeah, that's always been the case, right? So I've been running festivals for a number of years now, and I've realized that the aim of a festival producer, well, there's three cornerstones to it, right? There's the audience, there's the production, and then there's the performance. And if these three different elements are all in tune, as in the audience are excited about the music, the musicians are excited about the audience, and that the production is supporting that relationship, then that is when magic happens, right? That's when real communication through music can take place. But they've all got to be working, right? So if you put the wrong music for the audience isn't going to understand the high points. High points are easier to understand, but they perhaps won't understand the nuance, the depth of what's happening in front of them. They won't necessarily get as excited as the musicians about the finer detail. And so yeah, it really is about those three different elements being in tune with each other. And that's what we tried to achieve. And I think we've done a pretty good job. Again, we're tweaking it every single year. We've got some changes, which I'm going to talk about later, in terms of our venues. But ultimately, that's the core of the music at the event. So our musical spaces at the event are split across a few different venues, and there's a change as well happening this year, which I'll explain. But ultimately, the bigger headline acts go onto the main stage. That's called the Bloom stage, where we can all bloom together, and it's blooming marvelous. And so yeah, it's where we have our live bands, our bigger live bands, where we've got enough space and enough production support, enough staff, and enough technology to be able to support those type of acts, as well as having a backstage area and everything that goes into a main stage. And that's where we place our bigger artists. And it's developed over the years. We've tried different structures, we've tried different setups, but we've landed on a place where we feel really, really good. The sound system is banging, the team is really good, and the decoration of the stage is brilliant. And we've got enough room on that stage to be hosting these bands and DJs. And so yeah, that's the Bloom. And then so last year and over the last few years, we've had our second venue has been the Warren. And I realised there was something I felt a bit uneasy about around the Warren. It wasn't quite working for me. It's a great space. I really loved what the team put together, and the vision was executed, and the DJs in there were brilliant. But I kind of found that like when it was brilliant, when it was like really good, it was brilliant. I have to come up with some new descriptive words. But for a lot of the time, it wasn't busy enough to be able to really create the energy that it needed to do those artists justice. And there was a few other reasons as well. I didn't feel like I had enough venues to be able to program as diverse electronic music as I'd like. And so essentially we have split the Warren into two, adding to the Nest at night, and the new venue. So we still got the Warren. It's just going to be a bit smaller and it's going to be covered. And then a new venue, which is called Lily Pad, which is also going to be covered. Cracking sound system, working with an amazing team that we've linked up with recently for that. And then the Nest at night. So at all times, firstly, the new venue Lily Pad will be starting earlier in the day, so around 4:00. The Nest will be starting around 8, as well as the Warren, maybe a little bit earlier, still completely to be decided. But the idea is, if you want to dance to electronic music, from 4:00 there's going to be something for you, and depending on what you want to hear, there's going to be an option. So there'll be a straight beat, so a house or a techno, disco. There'll be a broken beat, so breakbeat, drum and bass, jungle, that sort of a vibe, garage, or there'll be a more soulful beat. And that's kind of the theory. So behind the more soulful beat would be reggae, soul, funk. We've also got a Latin takeover. And so creating this extra venue gives me as a programmer an opportunity to work with a lot more artists, and be more varied in the options that are available, because I recognize that people want different things, and it's nice to have the option. And also with all the venues being covered, they're going to work in case of any light drizzle, and just generally I think a good shout. So we've got the Bloom, we've got the Warren, we've got Lily Pad, we've got Nest. So Nest in the day is the same as what we've had the last couple of years. It's our venue for emerging acts, local and emerging acts. All of them come through the application process. There's a couple of familiar faces that we had last year, but also a lot of amazing new acts. The day starts off in there with a chill, free tea, some poetry. There's going to be some sit down yoga. There'll be some arts and crafts in the morning, and then at lunchtime we're going to have a game show, and then in the afternoon and into the evening is when we have these really exciting new bands. And there's a couple of amazing applications that we've managed to confirm to play this show. So keep your eye out for that. Make sure you go and check it out. That's the Nest. The other music venue, the other music space we have is the Root in the evening. So the Root is in the same field, but it's moving a little bit. And in the evenings down there, rather than focusing on acoustic music, we've got acoustic music at other places across the site, but the evenings down there, actually, we're going to focus on dance. I had a big realization recently, or certainly over the last couple of months, where I reckon I was talking to a friend of mine who goes to Hold Tight Sandy, who goes to a dance session on a Friday late morning every week, and she loves it. Talks about it a lot. I know a few people that go down there, and they absolutely love it. And it's this process of just dancing. It's a very free form dance. You can express yourself. You can be it's for you. It's for being with other people. There's so many different forms of dance, and how that experience is important to bring ease to the body, to let loose, to let go. And anyway, so I was in conversation about this, and I realized that not everyone goes out for the same reasons. Not everyone goes to a festival for the same reasons. I personally go to listen to music, and then dance is an accompaniment to the music. However, my big realization was that a lot of people go out to dance first. I want to go out and dance, and then the music is the accompaniment to the dance, which is was an amazing thing for me to realize. It's quite a big thing, actually. And so my approach towards programming the route this year is dance first, and there'll be a few different styles, a few different ways that's going to play out, embracing things like 5 rhythms and ecstatic dance. And it's a beautiful space for it. It's a carpeted space. You go and you take your shoes off, and you feel a different level of sort of liberty when you're in that space. It's set down at the bottom of the high street, so a bit further away from the main festival, and I'd say just probably a little bit more space, and more about the dance. So, yeah, this year, who we got? Headlining on the Saturday night, Orbital, legends of electronic music. I mean, potentially like responsible for a huge, they're largely responsible for the UK rave scene, for rave culture, producers in their own right, performers like of the highest quality. I remember seeing them. We played in Ireland as a band like years ago, maybe, I don't know, like 12 years ago. And I remember seeing them, and I really, really remember that moment of being there. It was Electric Picnic in Ireland, and they got the lights on the side of their glasses, and they're absolutely ripping it up. And yeah, I think maybe that the seed was sown, and yeah, I feel really fortunate to have been able to convince them to come along to the show. And they're coming. They're going to be headlining on the Saturday night, which will be a real moment over the weekend. I know it. And then also on the Saturday, I'm not going to go through all the acts, but also on the Saturday, London Afrobeat Collective, who played like 3 or 4 years ago, and they closed the show out, and like they were amazing. And so I'm so happy to get them back on, but on a Saturday night and in a different context. They got energy. They're incredible musicians, and the woman that fronts the band is like electric. So I know that you're going to love her when you're there. Imagine it. And then other acts on the Saturday, there's still one to be announced. Holly Cook is playing earlier on in the day, Nectar Wood. And then earlier on in the day, some incredible emerging acts as well. There's Ebby Soda, who are a jazz band with some dancey elements to what they do. Absolutely incredible. Nick Lunch is playing, who is a local legend, who's from East Grinstead, and I've worked with them a few times, and he is just a top quality DJ. And then earlier on, there's a couple of choice acts who I'm really excited about. So Stelios Kyriakidis, and then Destin Denomi as well, who's this she's a Turkish singer who applied, and I think she's incredible, and certainly someone whom I'm excited to see the career of, and yeah, equally excited about her at the festival. I can't believe it. So yeah, that's the Saturday. I kind of like went straight in on the Saturday. So the Friday night, right? The Friday night is an interesting one. It's all about warming up their energy, bringing people in, bringing some warmth, having some live music. Over the last few years, we've had some wicked garage, which has been incredible. All started with Artful Dodger a few years ago, which was just epic. I don't think anyone, including myself, knew exactly how sick it was going to be. And so this year, yeah, we've got the night starting with Josh Skintz, who is the singer and guitarist from the Skints, an incredible band, a band that we've toured with ourselves. My band, we've toured with them, and also a band that I've seen separately and loved, and I know Josh quite well, and he is an incredible reggae DJ. He's been touring around with Lila Ike, and yeah, he's just a deeply knowledgeable individual about reggae music, and he's going to warm up the festival from the start on the Friday, which I'm buzzing about. And then it goes straight into Zed Bias featuring Specialist Moss. You're going to be hearing a live PA of his massive hit Neighborhood. I feel good, good, good. I feel good, yes, wonderful, good. You know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, tune in, imagine the ride, get on the train, and let's go. And then it's going into Gentleman's Dub Club, us, and then a cup of tea, and then probably the act that I'm the most excited about this year, Miss Dynamite. Miss Dynamite has been on our list literally every single year from year one, and for various reasons it's not been able to happen, and this year it's happening. Like, she, I think, is the definition of the show, really. Musically, she's such a perfect example. Like, iconic singer, like defined an era, really. She, like, culturally important, like she award-winning artist from like the late 90s, early noughties, and but then her legacy has lived on throughout electronic music, with the likes of with Boo and with While Out as well. Those are some of the biggest tunes that have ever been made, right? So I've been dancing to Miss Dynamite for as long as I can remember. I know that she has had an impact on people's lives with her incredible singing voice, and then I love the rapping. So she's like this incredible combination. And I can't believe that she's going to be playing at the show. And then she's going straight into Fabio and Groove Rider. So it's like Friday night has come together really, really well. And I'm absolutely buzzing about it. So the Saturday I've already gone through. And then the Sunday, traditionally like a fairly chilled start, easing into the day, where she got a local act, an incredible singer-songwriter called Molly Rose, who's performing. And then another local band as well called Soulbound. And then a beautiful singer with her band called Tallulah Rendell. She's from the Southwest. And then it goes into Sam Wills, who is a Brighton-based R&B singer. An incredible voice, Sam Wills. So go and check that out if you can. Then we've got the legend Mike Palenconi, a.k.a. Prince Fatty, a producer, potentially... he's certainly, in the top sort of 5 UK reggae producers and engineers, and globally recognized for his records over the years. Like, just an amazing individual, a deep passion and care for reggae music, and just perfect for that Sunday afternoon slot. And then it goes into Olympia Vitalis. Now, she's... I mentioned Nectar Wood before. She is another version of that. She's an incredible soul. Her voice is unique and like emotive. Some of her songs are just, I've been listening to now for well over a year, and I was amazed at how young she is and how new she is when having like been introduced to her through her music, because her voice sounds like something of the past. The production is modern, the way that it's produced is modern, all of those things, but the voice, the essence of it is so classic. And I literally can't wait, because I know a lot of people aren't going to be familiar with her music, and so I just know that you're going to love her, so check her out. And then it goes into, we've got these 3 incredible acts, well 4 really, but on the Sunday. So it starts off with the Bay City Rollers. Like, it's worth a little explanation, that, I think, in and of itself. So Bay City Rollers, the Beatles of the 70s, like huge band, a little to the side of the type of music that we would ordinarily book at a festival, but great music nonetheless. And the reason that they're on the lineup is because I just fell in love with the story. So the guitarist Woody, he relaunched the band a few years ago, and it was after their manager passed away. Now, I'm not going to go into the exact detail. You can find out about it more through, there's a couple of documentaries and a fair bit of content online, particularly on YouTube. there was a lot of darkness in their story. They had a very, very challenging journey, and they were mistreated as a band, and that impacted them all because they were young. They were really young when they first started, and these tragedies befell them as individuals and as a band. But the music was incredible, and the story just broke my heart because that all of these sort of these like tragic moments and this sort of darkness that was a part of their journey dragged down the music, and how people loved their music and loved them as individuals and as a band. And when I heard this story, I reached out to an agent that I know that looks after them, and we managed to make it work. And I'm buzzing. I just think it's going to be a beautiful way on a Sunday evening for everyone to come together to sing a few like iconic tunes, you know, that will have played a vital role in people's youth, and even like up to the current day, they're still being played, right? The music is timeless. And I know that that's going to be a special moment on the Sunday. And then then we go into Heatwave. Heatwave are a band from the 70s and 80s. They're a disco band, and they are responsible for one of the biggest songs of all time in Boogie Nights. Boogie Nights, Boogie Nights, dance with the boogie. Anyway, turns out they live in London. And they're up for coming to play, and so they're going to be playing on the Sunday evening. So Bay City Rollers into Heatwave, and then into Ibibio Sound Machine, who are just they're just incredible. Like a lot of horns, a very powerful lead and strong vocals, and like this kind of like echoes of like funk and disco. It's kind of like East African vibe. A very like unique and what I think is going to be perfect for that moment, right at the end of the festival, where everything comes together, like the other stages close. You know, you've just gotten through a weekend together. You know, we've overcome challenges together. We've danced together. We've laughed together. We've processed together. People have cried. There's been learnings. There's been like fear overcome. All of these things, they all happen at a festival, and then suddenly this togetherness at the end, with incredible music. I know from experience that that's a large part of what the festival is. All of these elements culminating in something magnificent. And then, as a tradition, we've got a DJ finishing it out, and he is a local DJ and someone that I've known for many years, and his family I've known for even longer. I first met him when he was 18, I think, or 19, and he came out to Croatia to work with me at Outlook, and his DJ name is Rafiki. He plays an incredible diverse mix of kind of Afro house, but with elements of disco in there, and going kind of deeper and funkier, all of these different. The thing is there aren't many people that I've ever heard DJ that are as good as Rafi. Honestly, I'm saying that from years and years of experience. I mean, I think Dan Shake is an incredible DJ. I think like, you know, Huni back to back with Antal, that sets that I have seen that have been really transported me. I think James Lavelle, different style but equally like incredible natural DJs, and Rafi's got that. He's got that thing. And so again, a moment to all come together, and then that's rounding off the weekend. So that's the music, the main music on the main stage. I'm not going to go into all of this detail because I just wanted to try and communicate the level of depth that goes into booking this main stage. It is a labor of love, and it takes a long time, and when one thing changes, everything else gets out of sync. And so I need to constantly be reimagining it. But yeah, so the Nest, as I said, these artists come through application, and there's some real highlights. The Butterfly Wheel are going to be incredible on the Friday, just with a hot lobby. I'm looking forward to them. The Cat Evans, Loot the Moon, Panadub are going to be incredible on the Saturday night. The Static Ella, who played last year, beautiful songstress. Kanakai, Dakashanks, the Golden Guild, Fukushima Dolphins are going to be back. Sorry to just rush over those names, but the Nest, again, a very magical place, like somewhere where you can go most of the time. You can sit down if you need a break, but if you just want to absorb the energy and the power that comes from new musicians and new ideas and exciting experimental sort of genre bending songs, then that's the place to go and check it out. Then I already went over the detail in the Warren and the Lilypad and the Nest at night. But just to say a couple of the takeovers that we've got True Thoughts on the Sunday, which is going to be incredible, with Footshooter and Reese Baker. On the Saturday, the Doc Scott show is Canopic Recordings. And then on the Lilypad on the Friday, we got the Fortune Award All Stars representing the Fortune Award down in Brighton. Reggae Town on the Saturday, and JJL and Friends. I just want to spend a minute talking about JJL actually. So he's going to be performing on the Sunday evening in Lilypad, and he is a local act, and he lives in Forest Row, but he's recently had music signed to Shogun Audio, which is one of the most well-respected and longest-running drum and bass labels based in Brighton. And JJL is an emerging artist, an emerging musician, and he's a lovely guy. He's a great producer and an incredible DJ, and that will be elements of garage and moving in some drum and bass, quite experimental, quite diverse. But yeah, he's an example of someone whom I've learned to understand over the last couple of years, and I really want to offer as many opportunities as I possibly can within the event, because it's so important. And no matter what happens, no matter where he chooses to go, the journey that he's on at the moment is really exciting. I'm very happy to be a part of that. And then DJs in the route. I've not totally nailed the programming for that, so that's that. Watch this space. So that's kind of like this year. I can imagine it. Lastly, I'm going to get into some of your questions. Just again, I'm blown away by the community surrounding this festival. I've run festivals for a long time. This is like the 18th year consecutively, bar that one COVID year, 2020, where I've been running festivals, and every year they're different, and every year it's starting again, in terms of the energy and the novelty of that particular year. But the festival here, Good Vibrations Society, is so special, and a huge part of that is the engagement. And so people talking to us online, emailing us directly, filling out the application forms, responding to our messages, and that's how we survive. Right, that's how we're able to continue doing this, because people choose to come to the show and then come back again the year after, and come back again the year after that. And so I've always wanted it to be a conversation with the people who are at the event, and so the community is the staff, is the artists, but it's really the people that come to the event make it. And imagine it. There's only 150 artists, or maybe 100 or so staff, but then there's thousands of people who are coming to the show, choosing to spend their weekend with us. First one is coming from Alex Warport on Instagram. How do you actually choose the lineup? Is it down to a gut feeling, or data, or both? Yeah, I suppose it's a bit of both. I mean, I don't know how to process that word data. It doesn't feel like data, but I guess you could look at it like that. There is data around it, you know, in the information from people, the feedback forms that come the year after, that's data. We ask for recommendations through our posts, through social media. Those names get put into spreadsheets as well. So I'm looking at that, that's data. There's also elements of there always has to be an aspect of like a commercial consideration when it comes to bookings as well. So, you know, acts that have, you know, I want to choose this act, and then I'm interested in knowing, well, how many tickets does that act sell when they're in Brighton, for example, when they're in London, and so that gives me a good understanding of their audience and their potential like crossover audience and who might be coming to the show to see them specifically. So yeah, there's data, but really it is a gut thing, you know, and that's why I need to give it such a long time, because things change, and looking at a group of acts can be impacted in such a like dramatic way by just one tiny shift, or even just organizing them in a different way, and so that process requires feeling. It really does, and like imagination, and that's all come from like experience, I suppose. So I listen to a lot of music, I go to a lot of shows, I've been to a lot of festivals, whether as a performer or as a punter, and yeah, I'm a consumer of music. So I kind of like put all of that stuff in, and then hope that what comes out is like a good decision, and that other people are up for it. Let me know if you are in these comments. Next question from Ali GM, also on Instagram. Do you ever book artists before they blow up? Yeah, that's the dream. That's literally the promoter's dream. If you can book an act in like November, and then come the summer, they, you know, have a top 10 record, happy days, literally happy days. It doesn't often happen, you know, it's quite rare. It has happened a couple of times. In my experience, I remember, with Outlook, I remember we booked Disclosure to play in the ballroom, which is this like tiny little space in the middle of a fort. It's a bigger, I can't explain it briefly, but there's a fortress in Pula where we used to hold that festival. And the smallest venue was called the Ballroom, named after Noah. If you know, you know. Disclosure were playing in there, and they were fairly unknown, but pretty cool, kind of like underground duo. And then just slowly throughout the months, they got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and it was obvious that something was going on. And then like early summer, they released Latch, which was their first massive tune, and they ended up playing, I think, on the main stage, which is wild. When I think about it, it's totally mental, but that's a really good example, I think, of it. And done it before a few times with club nights. With this show, I think probably like blow up. Yeah, I think probably the best example is I booked Lola Young in, I think, the second year or maybe the third year of the festival, and she performed, I think, on the Friday evening, if memory serves me correctly, not to a huge amount of people. And I remember at the time being like, it's a shame that more people don't appreciate what is going on stage right now. And then obviously she's one of the biggest artists in the world right now. So yeah, that's a good example, I suppose. And every year I've kind of like got, like, I save a little bit of budget so that I can book artists that I think, you know, they have that potential of kicking on. Fatima Hanley on Instagram says, what is one set people absolutely cannot miss? I mean, I'd say Rafiki on the Sunday night, to be honest. Miss Dynamite on the Friday. Holly Cook on the Saturday is going to be incredible. Her most recent album is mind-blowing, incredible music. She's on tour at the moment. If you can, go and see her. do and then see her again. Good vibes, but she's a magical performer. Okay, Gabriel Schreiber, I hope I got that right, on Instagram says, what actually goes into booking a big artist? What goes on behind the scenes? So yeah, that's a good question. It can be sometimes a really simple process, and sometimes really infuriating, and sometimes it could take literally like a day, or it can take 4 months, 5 months. Just I won't go into any of the exact details of it, but there's a few artists that I tried to book for the show this year that didn't happen, whom I chased. I really wanted them to perform. I really, really believe that they are the perfect act for the show. And so it's about contacting either the band directly or an agent or a manager, and letting them know who we are as an event, who I am as an individual, our past, our like plan for this year. It's really selling in the show, like offering as much insight and like alignment as possible, and then and then it's up to the artist a lot of the time to choose whether they think that they're aligned with the show or not, whether it's right for them, the combination of them and the other acts performing. If they're international acts, that can be a really long, drawn-out process. If they're flying over from America or from Jamaica or from Europe or from anywhere in the world, then like the flights are to be considered. Other shows, sometimes, I've had experiences where I've wanted a show so much that I've booked in a whole tour around the show that I wanted them for, just so that they could come and play at my one. So yeah, it varies a lot. Amanda Schumer on Instagram says, have you ever had a lineup nightmare? Lineup disaster? And how did you fix it? Amanda Schumer on Instagram says, have you ever had Amanda Schumer on Instagram says, have you ever Amanda Schumer, 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 Amanda Schumer, Amanda Schumer, So thank you for your questions. Please do also ask questions at the bottom of this. Thank you for getting to the end of the podcast, the second podcast. Really appreciate your time and effort in listening. Please give us a like and share this. Hopefully it is something that can be enjoyed by people from this community, but also perhaps those who are interested in music festivals generally, and understanding a little bit more about what goes into them. So I'm going to do another one of these soon. I promised the last one was going to come 4 weeks after the first, so I'm not going to promise you the exact date of the next one, but I can promise a new subject, and one which is equally exciting, and also I imagine I'm going to be getting better at doing this as I go, because I'm quite new to it. So yeah, please support us online. If you haven't yet, buy your ticket for Good Vibes 2026. We really need your support. If we're going to carry on as a festival, people need to buy tickets and come along to the show. And I know that we've created something really magical, and that everyone that does come almost exclusively wants to come back. And so I'm excited about this summer especially, and look forward to 3 days of baking hot sunshine. Anyway, send you lots of love. Good Vibes crew, this is Johnny. See you soon.